Well guys, welcome back. And we're back out on the island. I camped here about a year ago when I first picked up the ESQUIF Adirondack. I've had it for about a year now. I said I was going to do a review, so what better way than to come back to the place we brought it to first. It's kind of one of the first areas I can actually get out and camp out right now. Up in like Algonquin area, it's still covered with ice. I was hoping to get out next weekend for the trout opener, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen this year, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer to get out on a longer trip. But yeah, that's all right. It happens. It's been a pretty crazy winter for the fact that we still have ice this far into April. It's looking like possibly May, maybe even second weekend of May, people are really going to be able to get out canoe camping. But yeah, a lot has happened over this winter as well. This last ice storm has caused a lot of damage to the trees. This island alone has a bunch of branches down, so I can only imagine what areas like Algonquin and more northern areas that were affected by that storm. But anyways, I'm gonna get the rest of my gear out of my canoe, and then we'll probably do a little cleanup before getting set up. All right, before I even get my camp actually set up, I'm just gonna get straight to it and talk about the Adirondack here. In case that is what you're here for, I won't waste your time. But yeah, I've had this for a year. As I said, I was here a year ago when I first got it. And since then, I went on 2 major trips and then a few one-day trips here and there. But in those 2 big trips, I really put this canoe through its paces, and I must say, I was very impressed. One thing I was very nervous of was the size of the canoe. So since it is a smaller canoe, it's a 12-footer, I was concerned about gear. Was I going to be able to fit my gear? Was I be able to set up my cameras? And fortunately, I was. It is actually absolutely perfect for a solo guy. I keep my barrel in the front, my canoe pack behind me, and I still am able to put my camera case, set up the tripod in there, and I still have room for other knickknacks. Now, fishing is a little bit more complicated. Definitely have to be very aware of your rod, otherwise it'll be at the bottom of the lake. But yes, it was honestly surprising I was able to sit in the canoe comfortably with all of this gear. Now, another thing that I was very impressed with was the actual maneuverability of this canoe, the capability of this canoe in the water. This thing, it's the best canoe I have used personally. I know there's probably ones that are much better in big water and everything like that. But for the price point of this canoe, it's very impressive. I had multiple days where I was in serious headwinds, rough water, and this thing handled it like a dream. I was surprised how well it cut through the waves. If I would have been in my 16-footer in certain occasions, I don't think I would have made it across the lake. And this thing, I kept a steady pace and just kept going. It was very impressive. Now, the only time I had an issue with this canoe was my own fault. It was paddler error, not the canoe. But I was trying to cut across White Trout Lake, and it was very heavy winds that day. And the wind was pushing me, and my tail end was just wanting to like kind of spin. So I was just paddling with one arm, and I couldn't correct it. So I went to stick my paddle into the opposite side, and I was almost immediately overturned. I leaned the opposite way, thankfully, and was able to recover and start paddling again. But other than that, this canoe has been stellar in almost every situation I've put in front of it. Another thing that I've been asked a few times is what yoke I'm using. So this is actually the yoke off of my old canoe. I had ordered a yoke from, I believe it's North Star Canoes, and it's basically just like a 3/4 thick piece of wood. it is completely flat, just like this side here has absolutely no concave. But this, obviously much beefier, and then it actually has concave. So it sits on your shoulders much nicer, wraps around your neck. So all I did was take the hardware from the North Star canoe. I got a longer bolt and repurposed it. And then I just cut slots into this yoke to make it adjustable and function for what I need to. Now, of course, one of the biggest selling points of this canoe is the weight of it. It is around 40 to 42 pounds, I believe. It is a dream to carry in comparison to my old canoe. My old canoe had to be around 90 pounds, I believe, give or take. And it was just a brute. I couldn't really lift it off the ground other than with both hands to maneuver it, but I could not just pick it up and whip it over my head, where this canoe, I mean, with ease, I can pick it up, put it on my shoulders, maneuver it around. If I need to, I could pick it up with one arm and move it around the site if I had to. But yeah, super comfortable, easy to maneuver, and you're not going to strain yourself. You could, of course, you know, put your back out doing the lifting portion, but this canoe is so light that that risk is just mitigated due to that fact. But yeah, absolute dream. Previously, when I was lifting that old heavy canoe, it took the life out of me. At the end of the day, I needed the rest. I needed to sit. I needed to sleep. I was just sore. As backcountry campers, we already have way more than enough gear on our backs. So much stuff in our canoe packs. And if we can take a little bit of weight off our shoulders and have a lighter canoe, it is definitely appreciated. So yeah, as I said, I am very impressed with this canoe. It's done everything that I need it to do. I truly appreciate the smaller size for solo canoe camping. Not only is it just nicer to go down the portage, it fits in my garage better. It's just honestly perfect for me right now in my life. But I think at the end of the day, one of the biggest selling points of this canoe is the price point. The price point is perfect. I think it's like $1,500, brand new. It's hard to find a used canoe, honestly, for that price. And to be able to buy something that you know is brand new, you're the one that's putting the first scratches on it, that is a huge selling point for me. It's always nerve-wracking buying something used, and then if you want something similar to this that has the capabilities of this canoe, you're looking at a $3,000, $4,000 canoe. So pretty hard to beat there, and I believe that's one of the biggest selling points for everyone. And to get a canoe at this weight, usually we're talking about different materials, where this canoe is made of the T4 Max material, which is supposed to be ultra durable. So definitely something you want if you're like me, you're rough on things, you're gonna run into rocks, you're gonna run into that stump that somehow is in the middle of nowhere. I'm that kind of guy. I'm gonna get many scratches on this bad girl, but it is designed to take some damage. So thankfully, this canoe and I will have a good life together. The only thing I do need to add for this canoe is keel guards. Just to get more longevity. Of course, every time you run up to the shore, this is the spot that you're hitting each and every time, and a keel guard will help prolong the life of that for you. Yeah, anyways guys, I am going to start cutting up some wood and getting ready to make myself some dinner here. Oh yeah. Ha ha ha. Wrong tool. We're going on an adventure to do the dumbest thing possible. Dummy. Oh, wow. I just rewatched that and that was dumb. As I was about to stomp on that branch, my brain told me that it wasn't gonna break. I tried it anyways. I don't really understand what just happened. I ate it. Like, I did a whole backflip behind the scenes there. But my finger got nicked by the freaking blade, a serrated blade at that, so that felt good. It's deep, but it's not bleeding too bad because of a serrated blade, so yeah. Sick. I've been carrying around this first aid kit for 3 years now. I guess this is why eventually something's gonna happen. Dude, that's so dumb. So dumb. Oh my god. But so funny. All right, we've got the grill heating up here. Hopefully burn off whatever is on there. But I'm kind of nervous of what I'm cooking here because I've had it for a few hours now, not in a fridge. We got some chicken. Oh God, it's greasy. This is from Sharps in Campbellford, if you have ever been. And it is maple chipotle glaze boneless chicken breast. Sounded great at the time, and then I got in line. I was like, why would I pick chicken? It's kind of one of those days, as you can see, I'm in a t-shirt. I keep bouncing back and forth because the wind is cold, but the sun is warm. So anyways, I need to get this cooking as soon as possible so I don't end up with salmonella and end up sick tomorrow morning. Well, I ended up having to cut the chicken to try and make it cook a little more evenly. Looks pretty good. But yeah, I was burning the friggin' marinade that was on it, and it's getting a little chaotic. It's actually really good. Tastes kind of like a shish kebab. If this was on a barbecue, it probably wouldn't be that great, but because it's over a smoky fire. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's hot though. Oh, I just finished up my dinner there, and I am very full. That was actually very good. I was kind of surprised there. I started to panic when I noticed that my fire was out of control and my chicken was starting to get a little crispy, but we saved it. Anyways, I'm considering going back out on the canoe and doing some fishing. I was doing fishing all the way out to the island, and I actually caught a pike. I caught a freaking pike. No way. That is not what I expected to happen here. Well, kind of. That's pretty sweet. This net, not big enough. Cool. Well, that was freaking cool. Never again. All right. That was interesting, to say the least. First pike of the open water season. Let's see if he'll take off here. Nice. Reminder to never put this lure in a net again. Not this net. Wow. Not a very big one, but still fun. Honestly, once I'm out on the canoe, I'm not trying to trophy fish. I'm just trying to catch a fish. So it was a good way to start off the season here. But anyways, I've got to get my tent set up and then possibly head out on the canoe. It's nice to be back out here. I just got back in from my little paddle there. I casted a few times and then I kind of ended up just sitting on the canoe and floating around, letting the wind take me. It's nice to just be back out on the water. As much as I love ice camping and that type of adventure, it's always exciting for something new. A new year to come, new adventures, more changes in life. You never know what's going to happen next. But yeah, I am just gonna hang out here, enjoy the fire a little bit. I can't see myself staying up much longer. I am exhausted. But the sun is outlasting me right now, so that's nice, but yeah. Anyways. Before I run out of light here, I really want to thank you guys for getting me to 2,000 subscribers. The last few months, the channel's really been growing, so I got to thank everyone who's been joining of late, and a big thank you goes out to everyone that has been following along for the long haul, through the bad videos, through the good videos. It means a lot to me. Honestly, the things I've been doing over the past few months, even the past few years, is the stuff I dreamed about doing when I first started this. I've really been catching myself of late, honestly, just being grateful for all of this. Like, of course, the big idea would be to do this for a living and chase the dream, but at the same time, the things that I'm doing were the dream of mine before, regardless of the financial situation. So, yeah, honestly, I'm just excited for what's next. I'm grateful for what's already happened, and I truly appreciate your guys' support. So I've got some big stuff planned this year between fishing trips, canoe trips, and hopefully the biggest trip of my life later this year. So if we can bring that to fruition, it'll be a good one. But anyways, again, I just want to say thank you guys for coming along for the ride, and I'm excited for what's next. I do not like the feeling of that. Well, it might be a little hard to tell from that clip, but I actually ended up packing up super early and heading out. It was about 4 or 4:30 by the time I had hit the water that morning. Definitely a weird experience paddling that early in the morning. It was very dark and cloudy, and the only thing that was lighting up my paddle was the moon light, which was definitely cool, but it's like this eerie feeling, especially with water temps being that cold. I did have the life jacket on, so don't worry. I was somewhat safe, but it was very nerve-wracking at the same time. Anyways, yeah, I really couldn't sleep, so I just decided it was best to get going. I had a few things to do on that day. Yeah, it was nice to get back out. It felt very reminiscent of the year before. It didn't feel like it was an entire year since I had been on the island. But it gets me excited for the year to come. It'll be about a month, I think, before I get on my first real big trip, but we might sneak in another weekend trip here before that. Yeah, I got a tick, actually. That is something that happened. I got a tick in my leg when I got home. So I'm glad I did go home when I did, because I wouldn't have noticed it for even a longer amount of time. And it was in there. I pulled it off. I ended up going to the pharmacist, getting some amoxicillin or whatever they give you. And hopefully, of course, we don't have the worst of that situation. But ticks are no joke, so be careful out there, guys, in your canoeing season. I've been fortunate over the past 5 years to not get one. I've been out in the outdoors quite a bit and not had one bite, so I've been fortunate, but you do have to be cautious. Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I got a lot going on coming up. It's a busy time of the year. Fishing seasons are opening like crazy. The weather is obviously changing for the better. Grass is turning green, and I am ready for some adventures. So anyways, guys, thank you for watching it, and until next time, just keep going one day at a time.